Hello, my name is Melanie, and I am an occupational therapy assistant student at Rowan Cabarrus Community College. Today, I want to explain how occupational therapy can benefit clients who are victims of or who are at risk for human trafficking. Since Present Age Ministries targets rescuing teenage girls from sex trafficking, that's the lens through which we will discuss this topic. Occupational therapy exists as a holistic approach to help clients participate in daily life activities they identify as meaningful and necessary. It is important to understand that the word occupation in this context does not refer to employment. It refers to the activities in life that occupy a person's time. If I could rebrand the name, I would call it functional therapy, as it applies to enhanced daily life function. Let's focus first on client concerns. These include the client factors, performance patterns, and performance skills that help determine the best course of intervention for the client. Client factors include the client's self-identified personal values, beliefs, and spirituality, the things that provide meaning to their life. This aspect aligns well with Present Age Ministries. Client factors also encompass the physiological and psychological functions of all the body systems, giving focus to those that can be observed externally by the practitioner or described by the client. Related to body functions are the structures of the body that support those functions. Sex trafficking may impact any of these areas in detrimental ways that can inhibit full function and participation in life, making occupational therapy a good fit for all victims. Performance patterns are one of my favorite parts of occupational therapy because I believe they hold the keys to success for our clients. Habits are those automatic behaviors performed repeatedly and relatively automatically. We might work with a teenager to identify and change destructive habits into ones that facilitate health and well-being. If a client struggles with rolling her eyes and sighing every time she's annoyed, which can be often for a teenager, we might collaborate to determine a more appropriate response, along with a way to remember to practice it in the moment. Routines are those patterns of behavior that provide structure for daily life. While habits are more isolated and specific, routines include several steps performed together, like developing routines for getting ready for the day, preparing lunch the night before school, or getting ready for bed. Roles encompass identifying factors like being a sibling in a family, a student at school, or an after-school volunteer. Occupational therapy can help clients identify the roles they play in life and change those that are inhibiting personal growth and development. Rituals also contribute to client identity, but are defined more narrowly as symbolic actions having spiritual, cultural, or social meaning that reinforce values and beliefs. Occupational therapy can help a teenager explore rituals that will provide the structure and support needed to accomplish goals. Rituals could include prayer, meditation, gratitude journaling, or any other number of things. Performance skills are observable actions that result in the performance of necessary and desirable activities. Occupational therapy seeks to use the client's natural strengths to address skills that are identified as deficits. Motor skills represent actions related to moving through the environment and interacting with tangible objects. Process skills represent the mental processing abilities required for daily life activities. Social interaction skills are just what they sound like, interpersonal skills related to communicating and interacting with other people. Although occupational therapy addresses each of these realms, the social interaction skills are those most commonly addressed in victims of sex trafficking. Occupational therapy takes a unique approach to designing client interventions. First, we seek to promote overall health and well-being through interventions that do not assume the person has a disability interfering with their performance. This create and promote approach is designed to provide enriched activities and experiences appropriate for all people in their natural life context. For a teenager, an intervention might include developing healthy hygiene routines, because personal hygiene is important for all teens, not just for those who are victims of trafficking. The next approach focuses on remediation or restoration of skills or abilities that have not yet developed or have been impaired. If a client's sleep patterns have been disrupted due to traumatic nighttime experiences, an occupational therapy practitioner can work on interventions that address sleep preparation in evidence-based ways to promote getting a good night's sleep. When using the maintain approach, the goal is to provide necessary supports to allow clients to preserve the skills and abilities they already have, because without maintenance, their performance is at risk of deterioration. We might work with a client to maintain passing grades in school, because without proper support, the client is at risk for repeating courses or dropping out of school. The modify approach uses individualized compensatory techniques or environmental adaptations necessary to support their performance and participation in activities. If a client suffers emotional dysregulation and feelings of overwhelm, the practitioner can teach sensory regulation techniques and provide sensory tools to help modify and promote emotional regulation. One of the most important OT approaches as it applies to sex trafficking is prevention. Interventions can be created to help raise awareness in the client, providing education and training in how to prevent trafficking and any encounters they may have with this in the future. I feel certain that by now you see the value occupational therapy has for victims of sex trafficking. OT supports the optimal performance, participation, health, wellness, and well-being of every client. OT uses trauma-informed care to provide holistic, client-centered interventions that address the physical and psychosocial needs of victims. So, what does this mean for you? You can advocate for an OT referral for every suspected or confirmed victim of sex trafficking. The medical, school, and social service systems are key players who can refer clients for an occupational therapy evaluation, with the most common referrals made by medical providers. You are already making a significant difference in the lives of these young women by combating the sexual abuse, exploitation, and trafficking of teenage girls. Partnering with occupational therapy can broaden and deepen that impact. Please contact me if you have any questions or if you need further resources, and I will be happy to assist you. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you even more for the important work that you do.